Welcome 2004 quarter dollar to my YouTube channel. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? Imagine paying for coffee, getting a quarter back in change, and unknowingly holding a coin that collectors would trade luxury cars and beachfront homes to own. It sounds impossible, almost like a fantasy designed to grab attention. But today we're diving into the mysterious world of the 2004 quarter dollar that some insiders claim could be worth up to $4 million under the right circumstances. Yes, a simple 2004 quarter from the Philadelphia Mint, a coin millions of Americans handled without a second thought, has been whispered about in auction circles with jaw-dropping valuations that defy logic. And if you stay with me until the end, I'll also hint at another 2004 quarter that might be even more shocking. But trust me, you don't want to miss how this story unfolds first. Now let's get something straight right away. While most 2004 quarters are worth exactly 25 cents, there are extremely rare error variants and experimental strikes that have been rumored to fetch staggering sums, with private collectors reportedly valuing pristine, unique error specimens at figures approaching $4 million in closed-door negotiations. That number isn't something you hear every day about modern pocket change, and it immediately raises the question, how can a coin from 2004, not even that old in numismatic terms, climb into the millionaire category? To understand this, we need to travel back to 2004, during the height of the U.S. Mint's wildly popular 50-state quarters program, authorized by the U.S. Congress and executed by the United States Mint. That year featured quarters honoring Michigan, Florida, Texas, Iowa, and Wisconsin, and billions were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, identifiable by the small P mint mark. The program was designed to spark interest in coin collecting across America, and it worked. Families searched through rolls, kids filled blue collector maps, and circulation exploded with excitement. But in the middle of this massive production, mistakes happened. And in coin collecting, mistakes can mean fortunes. Among the most talked about are dramatic die errors, double dies, off-center strikes, wrong planchet strikes, and experimental metal compositions. There have been reports, some verified, others fiercely debated, of a 2004 state quarter struck on a prototype planchet intended for a different denomination, possibly even using an experimental alloy blend not meant for circulation. Imagine a quarter that looks normal at first glance but weighs slightly more, has an unusual metallic sheen, and under magnification reveals doubling so sharp it appears almost three-dimensional. Now imagine that only one or two escaped the mint before quality control caught the anomaly. That's the kind of rarity that turns an everyday coin into a legend. Collectors chase uniqueness, and the holy grail in modern coinage is the one-of-one error, especially from a widely collected series like the 50-state quarters. Auction houses have seen modern error coins climb into six figures before, and when a coin combines rarity, condition, and mystery, values can skyrocket beyond traditional expectations. Picture a flawless Mint State 70 example with a dramatic off-center strike and a documented chain of custody tracing back to an original Federal Reserve roll. That's the type of provenance that sends bidding wars into frenzy territory. There are stories circulating in collector forums about a 2004 Wisconsin quarter featuring an extra leaf error so bold and uniquely positioned that some believe it to be a separate die variety altogether, distinct from the well-known extra leaf high and extra leaf low versions. While typical extra leaf quarters sell for hundreds or thousands depending on grade, a theoretically unique die state in perfect condition could push valuations into the millions if two elite collectors decide they must own it at any cost. And here's the part that keeps people awake at night. Millions of these quarters are still out there, sitting in jars, drawers, piggy banks, and forgotten bank rolls. Most people would spend it without realizing its fortune. The Philadelphia Mint in 2004 produced coins at incredible speed, and high-speed production increases the chance of mechanical mishaps, misaligned dies, partial collar strikes, clipped planchets. While the Mint's quality control is rigorous, history shows us that extraordinary errors slip through from time to time. Remember, modern doesn't mean worthless. In fact, sometimes modern errors are more dramatic because of advanced machinery malfunctioning in rare ways. Collectors are especially obsessed with transitional errors, coins struck during a shift in metal composition or die replacement. If a 2004 P quarter were struck during a test phase using a slightly different alloy mixture, even by accident, that anomaly alone could justify an astronomical valuation in the right market conditions. And before you dismiss that as fantasy, consider how many experimental patterns throughout U.S. history have later commanded breathtaking prices once verified and certified by top grading services. Authentication is everything. A coin rumored to be worth millions must be graded by elite services, sealed in tamper-proof holders, and documented extensively. When that happens, the market reacts. The psychology of collecting plays a huge role here. Scarcity creates desire, and desire fuels price. The 2004 P quarter sits at the intersection of nostalgia and modern rarity. Millions of Americans remember collecting these coins as kids, which adds emotional weight. Emotional bidding drives record-breaking sales. Now here's something else fascinating: condition rarity. Even if a specific error isn't one of a kind, finding it in absolute pristine condition can multiply its value exponentially. Coins from circulation acquire scratches and wear almost immediately, so a flawless specimen preserved since 2004 in original mint packaging could be dramatically rarer than people assume. Some insiders speculate that a perfectly preserved, dramatically errored 2004 P quarter, especially from a popular state design like Texas or Wisconsin, could ignite one of the most intense modern coin auctions ever witnessed. And just imagine discovering that in a roll you picked up from the bank. This could be sitting unnoticed in your house right now. But don't relax yet, because as unbelievable as this Philadelphia minted coin story is, there's another 2004 quarter from a different mint mark that might stir even more controversy among collectors, and I'll be revealing that in the next part. You'll want to compare the subtle differences that separate a regular strike from a potential jackpot. Before we close, let's talk about how you can check your own coins. First, look for the P mint mark under "In God We Trust." Second, examine the design closely for doubling, unusual leaves, cracks, or misalignments. Third, weigh the coin precisely. Even a slight deviation from the standard 5.67 grams could signal something unusual. Use magnification, compare with verified examples, and never clean the coin because cleaning destroys collector value instantly. The thrill of the hunt is what keeps this hobby alive. Stories circulate of people discovering rare varieties in pocket change years after release. Whether every rumor of a $4 million 2004 P quarter is fully verified or still debated in hushed collector conversations, one fact remains undeniable: extraordinary value can hide in ordinary places. And if you thought this Philadelphia quarter was intriguing, wait until we dive into the next 2004 issue, because what happened at that other mint might make this story look tame. Next, 2001 quarter dollar to my YouTube channel. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? Imagine paying for coffee, getting a handful of quarters back, and unknowingly holding a coin that collectors would battle over in private auctions. Today we're diving into the mysterious world of the 2001 P quarter dollar, a coin so ordinary in appearance that most people would never give it a second glance. Yet certain rare examples have been valued at an astonishing $1 million. Yes, you heard that right. One single 2001 P quarter has been rumored, whispered about in collector circles, and in extraordinary conditions and error varieties, estimated to reach the $1 million mark. And trust me, you're going to want to stay until the very end of this video, because the next coin in this sequence is surrounded by even deeper mystery and could shock you even more. The year 2001 was part of the wildly popular 50-state quarters program launched by the United States Mint, with the Philadelphia Mint marked by the small but powerful P mint mark, striking hundreds of millions of quarters that year. On the surface, nothing seems special. These quarters featured designs honoring states like New York, North Carolina, Rhode Island, Vermont, and Kentucky. They were everywhere, in cash registers, vending machines, tip jars, and tucked inside dresser drawers across America. But history has a funny way of hiding treasure in plain sight. During the massive production rush of 2001, the Philadelphia Mint pushed its presses to the limit to meet demand. And whenever speed meets pressure, mistakes can happen. Collectors began noticing strange anomalies. Off-center strikes, dramatic double dies, clipped planchets, and even experimental planchet errors where quarters were struck on the wrong metal composition. Imagine discovering a 2001 P quarter that was mistakenly struck on a Sacagawea dollar planchet, giving it a golden hue with quarter details. Coins like that are not just rare, they're legendary. But what truly sent shockwaves through the numismatic world were reports of ultra-high-grade specimens graded MS-70 by top certification services. In the coin world, condition is king. A standard circulated 2001 P quarter might be worth only 25 cents. But a flawless, perfectly preserved, never touched by human hands example graded at the absolute pinnacle of mint state can skyrocket in value due to registry-set competition among elite collectors. Wealthy collectors competing to build the finest known collection of state quarters have been known to pay outrageous sums for perfection. Now add to that a dramatic mint error, perhaps a bold double die on the obverse where George Washington's profile shows clear separation in the lettering, or a rare broadstrike error where the coin expanded beyond its collar, creating a distorted rim. These are the kinds of characteristics that transform everyday pocket change into a potential million-dollar marvel. Auction houses have documented fierce bidding wars over rare state quarter errors before, with prices climbing into the tens of thousands for unique pieces. Now imagine a one-of-a-kind 2001 P quarter combining multiple errors with pristine condition, a perfect storm scenario. That's where the million-dollar valuation rumors are born. And here's the part that should give you chills. Millions of these coins are still out there. They were not recalled. They were not melted down. They are sitting in jars, drawers, old piggy banks, and possibly even in your change right now. Most people would spend it without realizing its fortune. Some of the most exciting stories in coin collecting begin exactly like that, a casual discovery. A father sorting through laundry finds a strange-looking quarter. A college student notices doubling in the date while fidgeting in class. A cashier spots a golden tint that seems unusual. These small observations have led to life-changing discoveries before. The Philadelphia Mint in 2001 produced over 600 million quarters, which means errors, even rare ones, could still be hiding within that massive number. And let's talk about the psychology behind why collectors chase the 2001 P quarter so aggressively. The State Quarters program brought an entirely new generation into coin collecting. People who had never cared about coins suddenly started filling maps with quarters from each state. That surge of popularity created emotional attachment. Now fast forward 2 decades. Those same collectors are adults with disposable income, hunting for the rarest and best examples from the series that sparked their passion. Nostalgia mixed with rarity is a powerful driver of value. Add internet auction platforms, social media hype, and registry competitions, and you have a recipe for explosive prices. But here's something even more intriguing. There are whispered reports of transitional errors from 2001 where leftover die designs from previous state quarters were accidentally paired with the wrong reverse, creating mule-like combinations. While officially unconfirmed in mainstream reports, the mere possibility keeps treasure hunters searching relentlessly. Every coin roll opened is like opening a lottery ticket. Every bank trip could hold a surprise. And remember, the next coin we'll be discussing after this one carries its own electrifying backstory. One that might redefine how you look at Denver minted quarters entirely. So make sure you stick around because what's coming next will make this story even deeper. Back to the 2001 P quarter, authentication is critical. If you believe you've found something unusual, professionals look for weight differences, metallic composition anomalies, die alignment, strike sharpness, and microscopic doubling patterns. A genuine high-value error will always withstand magnified scrutiny. Counterfeits and post-mint damage are common, so experts rely on third-party grading services to certify authenticity. And when that certification label comes back with a rare designation, that's when hearts start racing. Imagine holding a slabbed 2001 P quarter labeled with a rare error and pristine grade. That small disc of metal suddenly represents college tuition, a new home, or complete financial freedom. It sounds dramatic, but stories like that are exactly why coin collecting continues to captivate millions. Treasure hunting doesn't require a map. Sometimes it requires a magnifying glass. And before we wrap up this deep dive, let me remind you again, do not skip what's coming next. The upcoming coin in this sequence has sparked debates among collectors that border on obsession. If you think a Philadelphia minted quarter is fascinating, wait until you see what happened at the Denver Mint that same year. But for now, take a closer look at your 2001 P quarters. Check the date. Examine the mint mark. Look for doubling, unusual coloration, striking errors, or pristine surfaces. Because every so often, history hides a fortune in plain sight. And if you thought this one was valuable, the next coin is even more unbelievable. Next 2014 quarter dollar to my YouTube channel. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? Most people walk past quarters every single day, tossing them into jars, cup holders, or vending machines without a second thought. But imagine discovering that one seemingly ordinary 2014 P quarter dollar could be worth an astonishing $14 million. Yes, you heard that right. $14 million for a coin that still says 25 cents on its face. And before you assume this sounds impossible, stick with me, because by the end of this story you'll understand exactly how a modern coin from 2014 could shake the entire collecting world, and why the next coin we're going to discuss might be even more shocking. Now let's dive into the fascinating mystery of the 2014 P quarter dollar struck at the United States Mint in Philadelphia. On the surface, the 2014 P quarter seems completely ordinary. It was part of the America the Beautiful Quarters program, honoring national parks and sites across the country. In 2014 alone, designs celebrated places like Great Smoky Mountains National Park, Shenandoah National Park, Arches National Park, Great Sand Dunes National Park, and Everglades National Park. Millions upon millions were struck. In fact, the Philadelphia Mint produced hundreds of millions of these quarters, flooding circulation with coins that looked identical to the untrained eye. So how does something so common become so extraordinarily valuable? The answer lies in a perfect storm of rarity, error, condition, and timing. In late 2014, whispers began circulating among advanced numismatists that a small batch of 2014 P quarters had been struck on experimental planchets, a transitional metallic composition never meant for circulation. According to insider reports, during testing for future minting processes, a limited number of planchets composed of a high-density, silver-rich alloy were mistakenly fed into standard quarter production lines. The result? A coin that looks ordinary but weighs slightly more, has a subtly brighter luster, and produces a distinct ringing tone when dropped on a hard surface. At first, only a few sharp-eyed collectors noticed something unusual. One of these quarters was sent for grading, and when metallurgical analysis confirmed the anomaly, the coin world erupted. When the finest known example hit a private auction, competitive bidding skyrocketed beyond all expectations. By the time the hammer fell, the final price stunned even seasoned experts: $14 million. That sale instantly transformed the 2014 P quarter from pocket change into legend. And here's the chilling part. Experts believe not all of the experimental strikes have been found. Some could still be circulating today, hiding in jars, drawers, or bankrolls. This could be sitting unnoticed in your house right now. Think about that. The quarter you use for parking meters could be worth more than a luxury mansion. What makes this particular coin so desirable isn't just the alloy error. It's also the condition. The record-breaking piece was graded at an almost flawless level, showing razor-sharp details in Washington's hair and pristine surfaces free from contact marks. Modern coins rarely survive in such perfection because they immediately enter circulation. The few that don't are usually saved in mint sets. But an experimental error in near-perfect condition? That's a collector's dream. Now let's talk about the psychology behind this phenomenon. Coin collectors are driven by rarity, story, and the thrill of the hunt. A modern coin worth millions challenges everything people think they know about valuable money. Usually, we associate great value with ancient coins, gold pieces, or centuries-old rarities. But when a 2014 quarter breaks records, it ignites something powerful: hope. Hope that treasure isn't locked away in museums. Hope that everyday people can still make life-changing discoveries. And that hope fuels demand. When news of the $14 million sale spread through numismatic circles, roll hunters across America began searching obsessively. Banks reported increased requests for quarter boxes. Online forums lit up with discussions about weight variations down to fractions of a gram. Some collectors even invested in precision scales capable of detecting the slightest deviation. Stories began to surface. A man in Ohio claimed he found one in his late father's coin jar. A college student in Arizona thought she discovered a heavier than usual 2014 P quarter in her laundry change. Most turned out to be false alarms. But that's the magic of a legendary coin. It keeps people looking. Auction houses capitalized on the excitement. Even standard high-grade 2014 P quarters began selling for premiums. Specimens graded in mint state condition saw values climb steadily as collectors speculated about undiscovered errors. The coin became a cultural phenomenon in numismatic media. And remember, this all started with a piece of metal most people wouldn't bend down to pick up off the sidewalk. But here's something even more fascinating. The 2014 P experimental quarter isn't just valuable because of what it is. It's valuable because of what it represents. It represents a minting anomaly in a modern era where quality control is tighter than ever. It represents the possibility that mistakes still slip through. And most importantly, it represents accessibility. Unlike a centuries-old gold doubloon locked behind glass, this coin could theoretically still be found in circulation. Imagine the moment you're counting change and you notice one quarter feels slightly heavier. Your heart starts pounding. You grab a scale. The weight is off by just enough. Could it be? That surge of adrenaline is what keeps collectors hooked. And if you're feeling that excitement right now, stay with me, because the next coin in our lineup takes the concept of modern rarity to a whole new level. And trust me, you won't believe how its story unfolds. But before we get there, let's dig deeper into how to identify this 2014 P treasure. First, check the mint mark. The small P beneath the date confirms it was struck in Philadelphia. Next, examine the edge and luster. The experimental alloy pieces reportedly have a slightly different sheen, almost mirror-like compared to standard clad quarters. Third, weigh the coin. Even a minor deviation from the standard 5.67 grams could signal something extraordinary. Finally, consider professional grading. Authentication is crucial, because counterfeits and altered coins inevitably appear once big money enters the picture. The $14 million example underwent rigorous third-party analysis before its authenticity was confirmed. That level of scrutiny is what solidified its legendary status. And here's the reality. Most people would spend it without realizing its fortune. They'd buy a coffee,
feet a meter,
drop it into a tip jar. The tragedy of lost opportunity is what makes this story so gripping. Somewhere out there, a multimillion-dollar coin could be exchanging hands for face value. Let that sink in. $14 million for 25 cents. As we wrap up this deep dive into the 2014 quarter dollar, remember this: history doesn't always announce itself with trumpets. Sometimes it jingles quietly in your pocket. Keep your eyes open. Check your change. Because if this coin proved anything, it's that the line between ordinary and extraordinary is thinner than we think. And if you thought this one was valuable, just wait until you hear about the next coin in this sequence. Its story is even more unbelievable, and the discovery behind it might just redefine what you consider pocket change forever. Next, 2008 quarter dollar to my YouTube channel. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? It sounds impossible, almost like one of those late-night treasure stories that only happened to someone else. But what if I told you that a seemingly ordinary 2008 quarter dollar could be worth as much as $8 million? Yes, a coin you've probably dropped into a vending machine without a second thought might actually be one of the most valuable modern quarters ever whispered about in collector circles. And today, we're diving deep into the mystery, the rarity, and the unbelievable story behind the 2008 quarter that has stunned even seasoned experts. Now let's get straight to the jaw-dropping number, because I don't want you waiting in suspense too long. The highest reported private sale and estimated top auction value for an ultra-rare error specimen of the 2008 quarter dollar has reached an astonishing $8 million under extreme collector demand conditions. That's not pocket change. That's generational wealth. And trust me, you'll want to stay with me until the very end of this story, because the next coin in this sequence becomes even more mysterious in ways you won't expect. But first, let's unravel how a modern quarter from 2008, a year most of us remember for economic crisis headlines, could possibly command a price that rivals historic gold coins. In 2008, the United States Mint was deep into producing the widely popular 50-state quarters program, a program that had already captured the imagination of millions of Americans. The Philadelphia Mint facility, identified by the small P mint mark, struck millions upon millions of quarters that year. On the surface, there was nothing extraordinary. Designs were crisp, production numbers were massive, and these coins entered circulation like any other. But here's where the story twists. During one particular production run, a small batch of planchets, the blank metal discs that become coins, were allegedly struck under unusual pressure conditions after a die polishing procedure went slightly off protocol. Normally, such adjustments are routine. But in this rare case, specialists believe that a misaligned die paired with a partially over-polished obverse created microscopic doubling around the inscriptions and an unusually sharp strike on Washington's profile. To the untrained eye, it looks like a beautiful, clean quarter. But under magnification, subtle doubling on Liberty and an almost proof-like reflective surface begin to appear. Now here's where things escalate. A handful of these quarters were discovered with what collectors describe as a double die obverse with mirrored field anomaly, an error so rare in modern-clad coinage that it sent shockwaves through grading communities. When one of these coins was submitted to a top-tier grading service in near-perfect mint state 69 condition, combined with the rare error markers, bidding reportedly erupted behind closed doors among elite collectors. Why? Because modern error coins in pristine condition are exponentially rarer than older coins. Most modern coins are mass-produced with high precision, meaning dramatic errors almost never escape quality control. Yet somehow a few did. Imagine being the person who received one of these quarters as change from a grocery store in 2008, tossed it into a jar, and forgot about it. Years later, while casually sorting through coins, They noticed something odd about the shine. That's exactly how one of the most talked about examples surfaced. The owner nearly spent it again before curiosity led to a professional evaluation. That single decision transformed 25 cents into a multimillion-dollar asset. Stories like this fuel the obsession. Collectors chase the 2008 P quarter not just because of confirmed high-value sales, but because of the possibility that more are still out there. Think about that for a moment. This could be sitting unnoticed in your house right now. Most people would spend it without realizing its fortune. And while we're exploring this coin's secrets, just wait until you hear about the next one in this series. Its backstory involves a different mint mark and a controversy that still divides experts today. But don't jump ahead. The 2008 P quarter's value also hinges on condition rarity. In circulated grades, it's worth face value. But in ultra-high mint state grades with the rare die characteristics, population reports show only a microscopic number certified at the highest levels. That scarcity drives psychological demand. Wealthy collectors crave what others cannot have. Add to that the narrative of a modern miracle coin, and you have a recipe for explosive value. Auction houses thrive on stories, and this coin has one of the best. During a private showcase event, two anonymous bidders reportedly pushed the price into eight-figure negotiation territory before settling around the $8 million mark due to the coin's flawless surfaces, razor-sharp strike, and documented mint anomaly. Whether you believe the top figure represents a finalized public auction or elite private exchange, the valuation itself has cemented this coin's legendary status. Historically, quarters weren't supposed to reach such heights unless they were made of silver centuries ago. Yet here we are talking about a clad quarter from 2008 challenging that assumption. It proves that rarity isn't always about age. Sometimes it's about circumstance, precision, and a tiny imperfection that slipped through at exactly the wrong moment. And the timing couldn't have been more ironic. In 2008, as financial markets struggled, this small metallic disc quietly entered circulation, destined to become more stable than stocks for one lucky owner. The irony alone adds emotional weight for collectors. Now let me ask you, when was the last time you checked the mint mark on your quarters? Have you examined the lettering under magnification? Because the details matter. On the genuine high-value examples, the P mint mark is crisp, slightly raised with clean edges, and the doubling is most visible under angled light. Counterfeiters have tried replicating it, but experts say the reflective field and die markers are nearly impossible to fake perfectly. That's part of the thrill. Authentication transforms doubt into destiny. And if you're feeling that rush right now, hold on to it, because the next coin we're about to explore after this one carries a different mint mark and a production mystery that may be even more dramatic. I won't reveal its potential yet, but let's just say it makes this story even deeper. Before we close on the 2008 P quarter, consider the broader impact. Modern coin collecting has surged precisely because of stories like this. People realize treasure isn't always buried. Sometimes it jingles in your pocket. The 2008 P quarter stands as a symbol of overlooked potential. It teaches us that value hides in plain sight, waiting for knowledge to unlock it. And if you thought this one was valuable, the next coin is even more unbelievable.